Well, JB, you know, after all the USA South stuff that's been going on, I feel like I need to go into hiding a little bit. Do you think this is going to work?
Maybe in certain places. I mean, I think it might look better if you kind of change the colors a little bit. But
No,
we
no.
no, no.
Now, in fact, I got one of these for you too, from President David Harris at Union College. He wanted you to have one of these too. He wants you to blend in just as well, because
All right.
there's a lot of very popular, successful Union College alums across this country, and so by wearing this, you'll blend in and be just as popular and successful. Don't you get it?
I appreciate President Harris's thinking of me and put it that way.
Well, I've got a donut to eat here, and I don't think it's going to work too well with this. So why don't we run the open here on this live show and figure out how I'm going to eat, drink, and talk at the same time. Folks, week 10, it's coming up on In the Huddle. Oh, technology.
Well, now,
We're
Frank, we
switching
can't.
earpieces already in hopes that this is going to work for 15 minutes or so.
Well, I thought the show was already off to a great start, Frank, as you got muzzled, and that's pretty much what people have been asking for all spring season, especially especially down in maybe North Carolina or Alabama or some of those places. So, but yeah, don't worry, folks. Our fun ride here is starting to wrap up. There's only a couple more weeks left of spring football, but as I was telling Frank before we went live, 21 of the 27 D3 football conferences are either have played spring games or plan to play either this or next weekend. So I think that's really great because there was a time last summer where we were thinking something like this would never happen. So credit to all these schools and administrations and coaching staffs to pull this together and have a pretty successful spring campaign. And we'll talk about some of the, I guess 26 games that are going to be happening this weekend once Frank finishes his donut.
I was hoping you just keep going. It's actually a really good donut today.
Yeah,
About the best blueberry cake donut I've had in a while there. Anyway.
All right.
Okay. So, first, you wanted a soapbox moment. SUNY Athletics Conference, which is State University of New York. Sorry, folks. Their spring attendance policy came out. You were not a big fan. Go ahead, tell people.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff this week on social media that it's still, here we are a year plus into this thing, and we still can't seem to get it right. I mean, on one hand, we've seen for 6 or 7 months now that having spectators at outdoor live events is possible in a COVID time. It's not unsafe. There are protocols that you can put in place to make it very safe, especially for families. Not allowing parents to see their kids, especially seniors who might be playing in their last collegiate games, is really, it's a travesty. And, fortunately there are things out there like vaccines. I got mine yesterday, although I was called a sheep by one of our fans. Apparently they've never watched our show, Frank, because we've been pretty vocal and definitely leaning a little more than right of center on things when it comes to COVID. But, I've got kids. I want them to have especially the 2 boys that are going to college in the fall. They deserve to have a true experience. We need to get this COVID thing over with and move on. Let football season start in August like it should. We've seen it be successful for 10 weeks here in the spring. Sure, there's been some cancellations here and there, but come on. I mean, hopefully, common sense and just smarter heads will prevail. I mean, there's ways to do things safely. And, I don't think there's anything wrong about, getting a vaccine if that's what you want to do. I'm not going to judge somebody who doesn't want to get one. And I would expect that they would offer me the same level of respect. I mean, they don't know me. They don't know what my, family situation is. They don't know, what's going on. So, hey, do what you got to do for to protect yourself and the people you care about. And if somebody wants to call you a sheep, I guess, hey, that says more about them than it does about us.
Got my second shot last Friday. Saturday was a little down and out, and we sort of predicted that fact, and still watched as much action as we could, or I could. And you were carrying the proverbial bucket all day long on my behalf, so I appreciated that. But we are now vaccinated. You look no worse for the wear today, so that's good.
One and done, man.
I saw you wearing your Peloton shorts, which usually means you were working out earlier and everything, getting it together today, so good for you.
Yeah.
Wesley, still looking for a team, still looking for a game. I guess they've been getting a little interest for the weekend following the 17th, but because of their academic schedule, that's not going to work too well. They need a team
that's an NCAA rule.
Yeah, next Friday, next Saturday, or next Sunday, basically. They need a team to step forward. Folks, come on, do it. Let us know what you need to make it happen, ultimately. We want to get down to Wesley and see a final game, that their final game should be a final home game as well under these circumstances. I wish the NJAC had flipped that schedule with the knowledge of what we were facing here before they released it. They could have just as easily flipped that Salisbury game to the end of the schedule instead of the beginning of the schedule. But, nonetheless, Wesley needs a game. Let's get on this, folks. 1 week away from kind of that deadline. And Chip Knapp was telling me last night, still looking indeed. So please help them out. No USA South news to report. We did appreciate our interview with Coach Kayet on what became a Wednesday release ultimately. We spoke with him on, believe it was, what was it, Tuesday in the end or Monday?
Tuesday.
The days are blending at this point, but Tuesday it was, and good positive feedback, and no feedback at all from Huntingdon. We never did get any kind of response from Coach Turk or their SID further than the initial acknowledgement that they had received the request. So I guess that's that. If you read between the lines, I guess they aren't going to try to schedule a third game with Brevard on the 17th. You make of that what you'd like, folks. We just report the news and give you a little bit of soapbox derby every so often here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take a look at the Week 10 schedule. And we've packed it into one page because we can. It's 26 games. And, some standouts here. The pack is coming to an end, I believe. What is it, next weekend, is it? In 2 weeks? Okay.
23rd, 24th is, I think, when their crossovers happen. But there's some big games this weekend, especially tonight, that Westminster at Grove City. That matchup has been a great one the past several years, close games between the Titans and Wolverines. So got that one circled. It's interesting, though, we got this single Saturday game with Washington and Jefferson at St. Vincent, which should be pretty good, too. And, full slate. But, pack is starting to wrap it up.
Go down. The OAC is basically what I call semifinal weekend, at least in the case of Ohio Northern at Heidelberg. The Mount Union game tonight was canceled, and they will basically be the representative from their division, we know at this point. So now we got to figure out, is it ONU or Heidelberg that will be facing off against them in that game. UMAC, we've had some interesting games from the UMAC over the last couple of weeks, so we'll see where this goes with those three games. Northwest Conference with a game tonight in George Fox at Pacific all the way in Oregon. So
10 o'clock
there
for all you night owls.
It should be interesting to see how that one plays out again. North Park at Illinois Wesleyan is the only CCIW game, and Adrian at Albion is the only MIAA game, as it's the only one left standing basically in their schedule. That's a Sunday
Pretty
game.
much.
And also, let's see, the ARC has a couple of games scheduled. Heartland, which has pretty much been the high-activity conference over the last few weeks, has that Hanover Franklin game. Defiance at Bluffton. I'm curious to see if Bluffton can bounce back here. Defiance has struggled. Bluffton can win this game. It's at home for Bluffton. We'll see where it goes ultimately. Mount St. Joseph and Anderson as well on that schedule. The NACC, we'll see if Aurora kicks some more quasi-onside kicks or kickoffs where nobody is again this week. This is 2 straight weeks they've done it, and Wisconsin Lutheran should be interesting to see what happens there. Alvernia at Stevenson is our first MAC game, and if you look behind me, JB, you'll see a MAC shirt, in fact, that as I was doing COVID spring cleaning, located
Coach Jimmy R.
And so we've got the FDU Florum shirt there. Thanks to Jimmy Robinson for that. And I've got some ideas on how we'll get some more shirts up there, actually. I was thinking about this earlier for season 14, ultimately, because it's a little late this year to be doing all this. But Mac has Alvernia at Stevenson, although that should have been Stevenson at Wesley, unfortunately. And then we have the 4 crossover games that you see there. So it should be an interesting set of games. I don't know. I'm trying to pick one that I'm going to absolutely watch each night. Ohio Northern and Heidelberg would be the Friday game.
The nice thing is that they're a little spread out. So, I mean, like this North Carolina Wesleyan at Southern Virginia is today at 3 o'clock. So you can, if you want to watch football, there's a game on in less than 5 hours. And then, Greenville at Lake Forest. I know Coach Cat has been tweeting all over the place on social media, talking about how much their program, the Foresters, are excited about getting this game in. So, I think that should be a good one too. And Ripon, Concordia, Wisconsin. We saw Concordia, Wisconsin have a pretty exciting finish a couple weeks ago. And then, of course, our friends at Brevard are going to the University of the South in Sewanee in Tennessee. Another crossover game. I think we actually might even have to talk about that one in our picks, Frank, because it's the least we can do to provide a little bulletin board material for Coach Kayat as he takes his guys to probably what will be their last game of the season. But we were mapping some stuff out. It's kind of a long drive to Delaware from North Carolina, but you never know.
Never do know. So, yep, the earpiece died. So we plan on this happening, folks. We have a backup plan. JB and I can hear each other right now, despite I am Sans earpiece now.
There's no plan. Come on.
So just hang in there with us here. This is going to make Lightning Picks interesting when we get to it in a moment here for some more reason. How are we going to hear each other in 7 minutes? Because we have 7 games to pick. I think we need to roll right over to that right now because I don't see any reason to belabor this point any further. Just getting that set up on our screen here. But remember, folks, that we will probably try for a single show at the worst next week, dual show at the best, unless there's real breaking news to report. But you got a 3-show week out of us this week, so we almost need a break. This has been more than we thought we'd be bringing you. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. This has been a lot. But we will be giving you as much of a taste of the 26 games you see to our, the right of the screen, basically, coming up this weekend on probably Tuesday with our Crunch Time episode. Okay. I think the clock is ready. I think William Tell is ready. I'll just assume, since I can't hear it, that it's playing, and we'll start the clock. And JB, hit it.
All right. Initially, I was thinking this game might go to the Titans because they've looked really dominant, especially in the running game. But when you look back on sort of past seasons, Grove City has eked out some close wins, and so I'm going to take the Wolverines in this one. It's going to be they're going to test the lights on the scoreboard, as they say. I think this is going to be a Wolverine home victory that will propel them, kind of into that, conference championship conversation. But it's going to be a high scoring, like say 45 to 35 type affair.
And you're picking which team to win?
Grove City.
Both have had some good history of ECAC experience in the late part of the teens decade, I guess we call it at this point. And I agree with you that this is going to be an interesting game to try to predict it. Good luck, I guess. I'm going to say Grove City. I'm not going to pick as high a score as you are, though. I think 27-21. It will be close, but I just don't see that kind of score in that game. Ohio Northern at Heidelberg. I'll start this one. This is the semifinal game of their conference, or their division, essentially, both coming undefeated. Heidelberg at home. The emotion's going to come back. We had missed the part of the game last week where they had brought out Curtis Hellman's jersey at the kickoff. He was on the kickoff team quite often, and laid it on the turf with them kicking off that game, and it was very touching. Great job by Heidelberg in that respect. Obviously, they're going to do some things tonight to give a tribute to him, and at the same time, Ohio Northern, no pushover team here. I'm going to give the emotional edge here to Heidelberg, but this is going to be a good close game, 21-20. This could be one of those last play type games.
Yeah, I think Heidelberg, being the home team and with all the emotion and momentum that they have, I've kind of looked in the past couple seasons. They've won some games against the Polar Bears, so I think they'll start off slow like they did last week, but eventually will pull away in the second half, which has kind of been their MO. I'll take the Student Princes to win this one, 35-28.
North Park at Illinois Wesleyan. Your turn.
I think the Illinois Wesleyan are also known as the Titans, and I think just based on their previous track record, they'll find a way to win this game. North Park hasn't had much experience this spring season and didn't score any points last time they played, so I'll take the Titans to win it 21-10.
This isn't very exciting for the folks at home when we pick all the same teams, but I have to agree with you that the cream of the crop here out of the two of them is Illinois Wesleyan. I'm going to give them the edge as well from past performance and just being the home team on this one as well by a score of 31-17. This is an interesting game on paper here. Benedictine at Lakeland. Lakeland is 3-0. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that correct?
That's right.
So
that's correct. And Benedictine is 2-1. They barely lost to Aurora last week, as we saw.
So I'm going to give an interesting nod here to Benedictine. I think that they actually have the horses to do this. They need this game. They need a bounce back after the Aurora game. Benedictine, don't let me down. Come on, guys. We gave you a lot of press last week on Crunch Time, so come on, give it back here now. High score, 37-30, Benedictine.
Yeah, I mean, traditionally, this is a game that Benedictine has won against Lakeland, who's had a great spring season. But I just think that there's a gap between Aurora and Benedictine and the rest of the NACC. So once again, we agree Benedictine will win. Say 34-31. It's gonna be a close one.
We have a crossover, UMAC and Midwest Conference, Greenville at Lake Forest.
This is one of those games where, there's one team that's had some experience in the spring, and then there's one that's kind of coming in. So either the preparation will help the Foresters, or maybe, the Panthers, who've had a few games to get ready. But I feel like, this has been a long time coming. Coach Cat and company are going to maybe start off a little slow and struggle with a turnover here and there, but I think they'll pull it together in the second half to win it 28-21.
This game is the Cat's Meow all the way. Lake Forest, 30-20. The only MIAA game is Adrian at Albion. I'm going to give the nod to Adrian in this one. This is going a gut instinct at this point. I'm going to give Adrian the slight nod, 24-21 in this game.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to pick all the same teams because Adrian, who I saw play a couple weeks ago against Trine, they have a complete, very complementary offense, can run and pass the ball. So yeah, I'll take the Bulldogs as well. It's a 27-17.
We have one last one. You're going first on it. Brevard at Sewanee, the crossover.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be, I think, a statement game by the Tornadoes. They want to, prove to everybody that they really, should have had that chance at the USA South Championship. And even though there could be a little bit of a letdown in the first half, I feel like the Tornadoes are going to pull it together and win big. Kind of like last week, let's say, 44-14.
I'll tell you, this is a classic trap, this game right here, because emotionally, okay, they could get themselves up for the North Carolina Wesleyan game last week, but It's tough to get up for this game when you're Brevard in the circumstances you've been in and all the controversy you've been around and all the lack of responsiveness from Huntington under the circumstances. This Sewanee game is one of those games that I think that when they look back at scheduling it, they kind of didn't see what was coming at them. And as such, they've got to be careful here. Stephen Hogan has been tremendous as quarterback, all things considered, getting thrown into that, Eli Carr's injury and all that. And, look, Brevard wins the game, but I think this is going to be one of those Sewanee moments where they have a chance for a little while, and then finally Brevard, the cream rises to the top type moment toward the end of the game. 27-17 Brevard as the clock expires. So, there we go, buddy.
All right.
So, listen, we got a couple minutes here before I thought we'd be ending things. We have picked all the same teams here. I think I have a one-game lead. Let's look down the rest of the schedule briefly here. Let's pick a game that we do not agree on and see if we can come up with one and pick it. What are you thinking Hanover-Franklin-wise?
I think Franklin's been too hot and cold this season to go again, and Hanover still seems to be the class of the Heartland, so I think we'll probably agree that the Panthers will take that one maybe. Although, Grizz at home could be interesting. The one game I thought that we might, let's see here. A lot of these teams, maybe we have to pick something interesting. So here's one, Frank, that I've seen a lot of social media on Otterbein at Capital. They call this one of the oldest rivalry in Ohio, or like the best game in Ohio. Obviously Ohio football is a big deal. I don't know enough about Otterbein or Capital to really, my initial lean is maybe Otterbein because I've seen Capital struggle a little bit. But I know this game is an old rivalry game between these two private schools. So that's a possibility. Or maybe we could say, Geneva at Carnegie Mellon. Those are pretty evenly matched teams. The Tornadoes gave the Presidents a pretty good run for their money when they played last weekend. And Carnegie's, they look good, but they're not super dominant. That game could probably go either way also.
Okay, well, who would you pick in Otterbein Capital? I'm curious.
Probably Otterbein, I think. Yeah.
I think Capital could actually do it, to be honest with you. So there's going to be our diversion game.
The rubber match. Okay.
So right. I'm going to give you a chance to come back in this thing at this point. Capital, I think, wins the game. I think we're going to see some scoring in that thing. 35-30 in that game is what I'm going to give it. So what do you think? Otterbein by?
I'll say 31-17. I think they pull away late.
Okay, so there we go. Tonight we're going to get a good feeling, and maybe tomorrow we do a bonus pick if we figure out a Saturday game we disagree on.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you a chance possibly to come ahead in this whole thing.
Maybe, yeah. Right now our records are you're 15-2 and I'm 14-3. So been pretty accurate for the most part, but it's just going to be decided by one or twosies here or there as we go down the home stretch.
And sorry, folks, if we got any echo from that. Again, we're doing Sans earpiece right now, so I've got to learn to mute my microphone in those moments. But nonetheless, JB, good action coming up. A little bit less, as we always say each week coming up or coming forward here, but we do have a conference like the Midwest Conference coming online with some games, not just the crossovers, but their own games coming up soon. So we do have, and also some one-offs. The Western New England game, for instance, coming up soon.
Yep.
And we may see a couple others just pop up, but we are getting close to the end of what we would be allowed to schedule inside spring-wise. So, folks, enjoy it while it lasts. Then we're going to have a little break, and then we'll have fall football, and hopefully we can go out, watch, no masks. I mean, aside from, this one that I'll wear gratuitously. Got yours anywhere? Yep, I knew you did. And, we'll wear these to show our pride, but nonetheless, we hope we don't have to wear them during games in this next season coming up. Let's finish the spring strong, everyone. We'll see you next week, perhaps on Twitter in between.